Well, good morning. I know we'll probably have a few stragglers here, but, and I know we have a bunch of vets here today, and I appreciate every one of you, but if I ask you all to speak, we'd never get to eat. You know, Doug would get up here, and then we'd just all just chill out for 20 minutes, but anyway, I did ask three gentlemen to come share with us a little bit today, and they already know what to say. And so I'm going to turn it over to them, and they've been fighting about who's going to start. So now we'll see who starts. All right.
I know there's the other guys are sitting down already. All right. I'm George. I was in the United States Air Force. I retired as a major, and I was lucky I never went to conflict because I was what they call a Cold War warrior. One of the exciting things I had was when I was initially become a pilot was that I was a country boy hayseed. I knew nothing until, and then I went over there. They used to, when we were flying, introduced me to flying. I was in the aircraft. They said, "Oh, can you see that spot on the runway? That's if you plant yourself right there, that's where you're going to be." All right, but I was puking. I could not see anything. My head was between my legs all the time, So anyway, first thing I learned was to pray. I prayed incessantly that I need to get rid of this puking. And then the first time I flew solo, I forgot to do my crosswind controls. We had nice strong crosswind. Off I go, rolling. Rotation speed, rotated the nose of the aircraft. There I go off 45-degree off angle off the runway. Cloud of dust. My instructor said this saw a cloud of dust and said, "Oh my, he's dead." But then they saw the plane slowly lift up and all the way around the pattern. I prayed so many times, it was unbelievable, Thank good Lord. And lastly, since I was a Cold War warrior, I set on alert many days. That was nuclear alert, EWO, they call it, Emergency War Order. And all we had to do was wait for the klaxon. And we always had a lot of practice. The klaxon goes off. We run out there in the middle of the winter, jump in the aircraft, crank up the engines, and then we have to sit out there because the engines broke. But anyway, it was cold. One day, the klaxon went off. And we rushed out to the aircraft, and we started taxiing. What? We never taxi. Taxi to the runway, sit there, the engine's running. What in the world is going on? It was a glitch in the system, but scared the heck out of us. We thought we were going to be launching, that our families would be destroyed with nuclear flashes, and we're going off into the wild blue yonder and never returning. So I prayed incessantly. And I prayed incessantly whenever I reached minimum decision speed, which is that says that you reach a certain speed and the B-52, you don't have enough runway to stop. So when you reach that speed, oh Lord, let's get airborne all the way. So I learned to pray incessantly, and to this day, I do also. I'll turn it over to the other man.
Thank you, George.
All right. I'm Greg Motal. If anybody didn't know me, there's a few guests here, and I was in the U.S. Army, and I was a specialist fourth class, I guess is what it was called, when I separated from the Army. Anyway, long story short, there's many, it's like telling war stories, There's a lot of things you can talk about, but there's a couple of them I remember. The old preacher men over here, they like to talk about those foxhole prayers. Well, I didn't have any foxhole prayers, but we walked into a village, me and about 15 other guys, and we were supposed to go and see how the kids were doing, and how Papa's on and Mama's on were doing, because we had about, 8, 10 employees that worked on our compound, that worked in did the KP duties, and we had a big batch plant, built a bridge, a huge bridge. So we had a concrete plant, and they did all the dirty work. One day they didn't come to work, all of them. One of the officers decided we needed, and we went there about once a week, just as kind of a public relations kind of thing. We walked in there, and there was nobody there. No dogs, no monkeys, no nothing. And the squad sergeant said, "Hit the deck," and we hit the deck and rolled off in a ditch. And I could hear him back there squawking on the radio. our company had a gun truck with twin 50 caliber machine guns on it. Send Granny, that was painted on the side of the gun truck. Granny, send Granny, send Granny. Well, Granny rolled in there and wasn't a shot fired. I'm going, dear Lord, just get us home today. Just get us home today. And strangely enough, we all got behind the gun truck and backed out of that place. There wasn't one shot fired, and I remember that to this day. You don't walk into a village into a combat zone and nobody's there, nothing happens, but it did. So that was, I wouldn't say it was the highlight, but that's a memorable time, and I always associate when the pastors get up there and talk about foxholes prayer. It wasn't a foxhole. I wouldn't make any trades, but I said, just get us home today, and he did. So I was quite thankful for that. And I guess other thing, wasn't necessarily a highlight, but it started my short career in the military. I thought I was going to be exempt from the draft. I've been down there a couple of times, and they sent me home. Well, I went ahead and I got married to a sweet young lady, and I was going to start my life, And we were married about 2 months, and I get this letter. Opened it up, and it has a government, I don't remember what the government letterhead said, but the first word on the page was greetings, and I'll never forget that word. Greetings. So thank you, guys.
My name's Raymond Valenta. I was in the Marine Corps 4 years. When I got out of the Marine Corps, I was a sergeant. I enlisted in the Marine Corps right out of high school. And recruiters would come by and they're in their uniforms, Marine Corps uniforms just looked pretty sharp to me. So I said, I'm going to be a Marine. Wasn't very good at math. Marine Corps, it was 4 years. You got drafted, it was 2 years. So my numbers weren't very good there. So I was a slow learner. Well, after a few months of boot camp and this and that and everything, few of us were selected, like the whole company, to go to Vietnam. And we had a pretty nice flight to Vietnam and everything, and we hoped we'd make a return flight on it. Well, I went to Vietnam. I went there twice. I was a sergeant my last tour there, and I was 21 at the time. I got promoted to sergeant. It was out in the field. The lieutenant said, you're a sergeant now. We lost the other sergeant, so it was kind of scary. You're out there leading Marines, and you don't know much more than what they do, and they're leaning on you to make some sort of a decision, and you're praying that you're going to make the right decision with your Marines out there. We had quite a few little incidents out of there. Some of them I don't want to remember about, and some just stick in my head. And one instance, we had a young Marine just got into our squad. He'd only been in the country 3 days, and he was out point, and we were out there going to a river, and he got hit by a rocket. He was just gone, and we found just not much. We came back, and they want to know, Sergeant, what about this, that? We just went on with our business. Vietnam was a learning experience. I found out one thing while going through boot camp in Vietnam. When you put that uniform, I don't care if it's a Marine uniform or Army, Navy, Air Force, whatever branch you're in, when you put that uniform on, it don't matter where you coming from, what part of the state you coming from, what your ethnic background is, you're all under that one uniform color. So you bleed the same color, red. So it don't make no difference. Your skin's black, brown, white, or pink. You're gonna bleed red when you get hit. So if there's a prayer that was answered, it was that I got home. I got married after I got home, and been married. Matter of fact, this month will be 54 years being married. So I just got, I don't know, I just, we did a lot of prayers out there. There wasn't no foxhole praying because we didn't have a foxhole. We might have a little trench or something like that every now and then, but that was it. I continued believing in God, worshiping God. been a member of our Calvary Baptist Church since '74, and I'm just waiting for God. He'll call me home one day, and I'll gladly go with him. Thank y'all.
Well, I thank these guys and I thank every one of you for your service. I really do. I know that I've talked to enough vets. I come from a long line of veterans that I kind of broke the chain by not signing up. But I've talked to enough to know that there's a lot of different experiences. There's a lot of people who don't look back on their military time with very much good memories. Okay, that happens. But you know, we appreciate the willingness. Even for the Cold War warriors, you know, they were willing and they had to run out there and be ready all the time. When he talked about that, I was just thinking about last Sunday's Sunday school lesson. When Jesus was talking about the end times, he said that's why we need to be alert, need to be watchful, need to always be ready. And boy, if there's anything I can take from these testimonies is the need to be ready in whatever situation, especially if you're serving in the military, but as believers. So, hey, we already prayed for the meal. Brother Ed did that. So I appreciate these guys for sharing, and there's bacon calling my name. So let's go get something to eat. All right? Thank you.